I want you to ask yourself this question and answer honestly. When was the last time you truly allowed yourself to be bored? When was the last time you allowed yourself to sit in genuine silence? No phone, no TV, no music, just you and your own thoughts. We live in a time where there is always something available to steal our attention. It is not uncommon for someone to feel they need music, a podcast, an audiobook, something to fill the silence. Are you someone who has something playing while you're in the car or in the shower, working in the office, or doing dishes at home? If so, ask yourself, why? Why am I so uncomfortable with silence? I pose these questions not in judgment, merely to prompt you to think, which is exactly what happens when you allow yourself to be bored. Boredom is healthy for us. Having to interact with your own thoughts is good, not only for processing your day-to-day life, but also for being creative. When you simply sit and think, you are free to follow the winding path of your thoughts without an outside force guiding the direction. For someone who is writing a book, this is an especially useful skill, since a book is one big series of if this happens, then this happens, until you reach the end. Your thoughts work the same way if you allow them. You think of one thing, then another, and before you know it, what started out as deciding on what's for dinner has turned into thinking about the Roman Empire. I'm not saying there is anything wrong with listening to music, podcasts, and audiobooks, or watching a show or a movie. One day, I hope to have an audiobook version of my own story out there, and I definitely want people to listen to it. Entertainment has immense value in our lives, but I argue that it is not good for you to always be entertained, and this broad desire for constant distraction has had a negative impact on our society. When you're standing in a long line at the store or in a waiting room, if your first instinct is to immediately pull out your phone, it's likely because you are addicted to the dopamine hit that comes from constant entertainment. How many times have you scrolled endlessly on social media to then have no idea what you looked at for the past hour when at last you put down your phone? How many movies, shows, books, etc. have you consumed and said, well, I know it wasn't very good, but at least it was entertaining? My challenge for you is to critically think about the content you consume. A blanket desire to be entertained is not good for you. Personally, I have never understood the idea of wanting to switch my brain off just to enjoy something. If I have to purposefully dumb myself down to enjoy something, it isn't worth my time in the first place. I would be better off sitting in silence and simply thinking. When it comes to writing a book, that is exactly what you need to do. You cannot construct a plot without forcing yourself to think, and you cannot find room for thinking when you are always seeking a dopamine hit from outside factors. And even if you are not writing a book or doing something creative, it is still good for you to put aside the entertainment for a moment and simply exist without distraction. The next time you're sitting on your couch debating what show to watch, only to inevitably put on something you've seen 20 times so that you can scroll mindlessly on your phone to the background noise, instead choose, deliberately, to put the phone down and commit to watching something new. In this case, the quality of the show or movie isn't as crucial. The important part is that you're allowing yourself to engage with something different and give it your full attention. The same goes for audiobooks. Personally, most people I know who listen to audiobooks do so while engaged in something else. Chores, driving, exercising, working, etc. This is not to say that audiobooks are bad, and I would definitely argue that this type of entertainment is much better than scrolling on social media. However, I question sometimes how thorough one's attention is to the story at hand. When you read a physical text or ebook, you have no choice but to be engaged in just that one thing, meaning your mind is far less likely to drift. In my opinion, audiobooks deserve that same level of attention whenever possible. All of this returns to the problem of needing constant entertainment. The next time you do one of a variety of mundane tasks, do so in silence. Turn off the music, turn off the audiobook, turn off YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so on. I've been running this experiment with my daily commute. I have not turned on my car radio in about a month and a half now. Instead of listening to music to pass the driving time, I think about anything and everything, but most often my book. I talk out loud to myself about the scene I'm currently writing, and that generally primes me to have a better writing session later in the evening. This doesn't have to be all the time, of course, and this advice is not absolute. Some people are completely capable of being fully engrossed in their audiobook while mowing the lawn. Some people have curated their social media content to see only meaningful educational content. I don't seek to dogmatically tell people how to live, but to ask hopefully thought-provoking questions. However, it can be helpful to try this with just one activity. The takeaway here is not that you can't be entertained ever, but think deeply about the entertainment you consume and why. Does it actually enrich your life, or is it simply a way to pass time? If the latter, force yourself to shut off the entertainment and be bored. You'll be surprised what your brain is capable of when you turn off the noise and let yourself think. Thank you so much for stopping by. As always, I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you here in the next video.